So here's the thing. In this tutorial, we're going to make an image reveal animation using Next.js, Gsap, and vanilla CSS. And this animation comes out with two variations. As you can see, this is the first one. Just animation get triggered. And there is also another one, which is slightly different. If the user scroll up, then the animation will be triggered again. So let's begin with, of course, npx create next app and just call it image reveal, and not using TypeScript, yes, lint, source directory, experimental app node, and import all the same. Alright, now the project is fully bootstrapped, so we just open VS Code. And of course, we are going to install npm i gsap. In the meantime, I'm going to start to delete all the placeholder stuff that we have in the index. Let's call this stuff home. And also in the styles, you can delete the home modules. You don't use CSS modules. And we can already start the server pm run dev. I'm going to create a classic component folder. Components, yes, good. And we are going to create our hero.js. I'm going to copy it really quickly. All right, let's import this. Hero.js. Well, just hero is good. All right. This acts just as a kind of a pacing, so it's not that much important for the tutorial itself. But first thing first, I'm going just to add some global styling. This is just adding some resets for the styling, some colors, some headline stuff, some spacing, and some stuff for the buttons. Also the body of the Montserrat and a background color that I set right here, and some more styling for the hero section. This is not that much important, so I'm going to go really quickly. And so yeah, now we can finally start to work on our image reveal component, and I'm start by inserting some images in the public folder. You can find these images, of course, in the complete GitHub repo. And I'm going to create in the source folder another folder called data, and inside data I'm going to create a projects .js. And as you can probably guess, this project folder file will contain the information about every project, and this will be just a simple constant. It's an array of objects, like every project will have a name and hash margin, and this hash margin is just for styling purposes. As you can see, one is false, one is true, one is false, one is true. This is just for styling purposes, because in my example, one project, always the one in the right, it will have more margin, so I just thought it was the best way to deal with that effect. It will be, of course, an image as a array of technologies, and a link for redirecting the user to the page of the project. But in this case, I don't have, of course, a page. It just will redirect to the home directory. And now that we have all the data, we can finally start to work on our component. So I'm just going to create a component, calling it projects.js, and I'm going just to and I'm just going to copy and paste some quickly imports. I'm just going to import isFet useref from React.js, ScrollTrigger, and we are going to import our projects from the data that we created previously. And also I'm going to import a component that we still haven't created, but we are going to create really soon. And yeah, we are just going to build really quickly this component. Just going to create a main. Inside this main, we are going to have, of course, our projects. We are going to map through every project, and for each project, we are going to have a simple project. And yeah, for each one, of course, we are going to use project single that we are going to create right now, and we are going to pass the project as a prop, still as a project. So right now we can finally create the single component for each project, and you can call it like just project if you want, project.js, but I think it's not that much clear because we already have one called projects with the S. Maybe it's a bit confusing to have project and projects, so I'm just going to call it project single. Maybe it's a bit more clear. I'm just going to create it really quickly, and maybe you can just copy paste because it's not that much important for the sake of the animation. I'm going just to explain a little bit. We're just going to take the project prop that we send right here, just send in the project as a project prop. The project comes from the data, and for the project we have a single div. Select the wrapper, the main wrapper, and have a class name with an, as you can see, there is a little if statement, and this is just for the styling, the has margin, and basically is if the project has margin is equal to true, it's just going to have these two classes. It's going to have project single and project single dash margin. If not, it's just going to have the project underscore single. It will have the stuff for the image. It will be the project.link as a link imported from Next.link, and this is really important. If you have an old version of Next.js, you still need to put the anchor tag, but in this case I'm using Next.js 13, so I don't need to put the anchor tag. Hopefully I'm going to have the animation with the source project.image, the alt tag is project.name. We're going to have some description. This is the project.name with an h2, of course the link, again project.link. This will be like a button, and of course you have the URL for each. This was, let's say, it was the technologies, so we are going just to map for each technologies. It will have a tag, and for each tag it will have a key, which will be the tag, and of course the name of the tag. At this point we are finally ready to style, give it a little bit of style at the single project, and as you can see there is kind of a bit of CSS properties, but the only important ones are these two. One is the clip paths and one is the scale of the image. The clip path is related to the wrapper of the image, but you will see later why. And of course the scale is for giving the image a scale animation. All the other CSS is just for styling purposes. As you can see, just styling for example, the title, the a tag, which in this case is kind of a button. The URL, just styling this was the text stuff. Yep, you probably understood. And the single margin is also really important. This will be the class that we have in this case. If the has margin is true, it will have this class that will add some margin top of 13 rem. And I also have just a little bit of media query, where super really important, I will just remove the margin top, because maybe in the mobile version you don't want a project to have more margin in the top. It doesn't make for me any sense, and some other little styling adjustments. Now we are finally ready to import the component to the home, but before I'm just going to add where is this one, a class name of projects underscore outer. All right, and yeah, I think we can really import projects. Here we are, auto closing, and I'm also going to add the class name of project projects. And okay, we are starting to see something. The image is not here, so probably for these CSS properties. This is for the animation, but maybe we don't need right now. We also don't need this one, I guess. Yeah, perfect. Now the project is already showing. Of course, there is not the animation, but we are going to build it right now. But as you can see, the projects are already showing. So the name, the button, the text stack, and the images, and yeah, now we're finally ready to build the animation. We will create the animation just in one file. In this case, it will be the projects.js. So I'm just going to remove this spacing, and we will create the for creating the animation. As you can see, we have more than one image. So in this case, I think the best solution will be to create a custom hook to just take the reference of each project. And yeah, for doing it, I'm just going to create a custom hook, which will be const project ref and set projects ref is equal to use array ref. And this, as you can see, is kind of similar to useState, because basically the first value of this const is the state variable that gets initialized using the custom hook, and it's like the initial value, while the second one is worked kind of a function to update the first value. So it's really similar until now to useState hook from React. Now we're going to create the function, which will be function use array ref. And first we will have the projects ref. Is it the same? I think yes. All right, and it's equal to the classic use ref, and as an initial value we want this to be, of course, an empty array. Then also we need the projects ref dot current, which is also equal to an empty array. And at last we just need to return an array of two values, where the first value is just the projects ref that we declared before, and second value is a function which it takes the ref, literally the ref that we are going to reference stuff in the DOM, and it's going to push this ref if it's truthy to the projects ref dot current dot push also the ref. Now the custom hook is finally finished, and now we just need to register gsap dot register the plugin ScrollTrigger, thank you. And of course we need use effect, and in this use effect we're just going to take the project ref that we have declared before, dot current dot for each loop, and literally for each of these of the reference we have a project with a function. This function will have the animation for each project, which we need first to reference all the stuff that we need. In this case we want to select the wrapper, which will be project.query selector and it will be the class, which is this one. We also need, of course, to select our image, which is equal to also project.querySelector, and we need to select the class of the image. Once we have both elements selected, because the wrapper is for the animation that fades the image, and the image itself is for the scale animation. Once we have both selected, we need to make a timeline, which is TL, or you can call this whatever you want, is equal, of course, to gsap.timeline. Alright, and we just need to call immediately the scroll trigger inside timeline, which is an object, and the trigger, of course, it will be the project. We want the animation to start the top, bottom, and we want to toggle actions, alright, to restart non-reset. This will restart the animation once the user scrolls up. Now that we have our trigger, we can finally build the timeline itself. So I'm just going to make a TL.to, which is for the wrapper, and the wrapper will have a is of power 2. It will have a duration of 2 seconds and a clip path, which is the animation itself. Just copying it 1 second. Alright, and the second one, it will be the TL.to, and it's only for the image. It will have, of course, a duration, also 2 seconds, and a scale of 1. In this case, we also want to put this minus sign. It means that with this timeline, it will be triggered when the timeline itself is triggered. So these both they start at the same time. In this case, we can remove the return, and you can start to take the set projects ref and pass it as a prop, so we can reference all the stuff in the DOM that we want to put inside the projects ref, which is for now an empty array. But we are going to select all the projects, and we are going to send this as a prop. Yeah, set projects ref, and I noticed that we are mapping here, but we don't have a key. Should always put a key. In this case, it will be project. Yeah, that name. That's going to be project.id if you have one in the best case scenario. So yeah, we can give it a save. Now we just need to take our the second prop that we passed just now, which is set project ref. Yeah, and we just want to put it in the top ref, set project ref. Alright, now it should be working, but I think we need to get rid of these comments. Let's see. Git a refresh. It's not working. Oh, it's not working because this projects graph. Yeah, we finally have our animation. And as shown before, you can also remove the toggle action. I think it's less chaotic. If you just play just one time, I think it's the best for the user in my opinion, but that's totally up to you. So yeah, I hope this was helpful for you. Leave me a comment if I wasn't that much clear in some parts, and make sure to check out the full GitHub repo where I've write some comments in the code. But yeah, let me know in the comments. I think it's the best. If something is not clear, I can explain it better for you.